Here we are. Okay, so we're going to kind of just walk through this together, yeah? Because I really want us to make sure that we understand everything that's going on. We do this. What did I just do? Hang on just a second. No, that's not going backwards. Why am I on that side? There we go. Can you see that there?
Yeah.
All right, fantastic. Okay, so what we're looking at is with 1B, it's the next 5 questions are going to be based on Anthony, who's, your typical 32-year-old person who's coming into a gym, wants to see what the gym has to offer and, to see a fitness instructor. As you can see here, he's new to the gym, explains he likes playing sports, but he really doesn't like doing group exercise classes. He also explains his primary goal is to get toned, but could only really train 3 times a week. So first thing we'll talk about there is like, if someone comes to you and say they want to get toned, what does that actually mean? What does that mean to you?
It means that they want to probably lose a bit of weight and just tone their muscles.
Yeah. So again, toning, like what does that word toning, what do you think it actually means from a logical, from a body understanding?
I don't know. Or when I think of tone, I think of I don't know, muscles.
Yeah. Okay. Well, this is so what we try and do with this course is we try and take some of these everyday concepts and we try and put a bit of an anatomy and physiology behind it, right? So that gives you a really good understanding of what you need to do. So typically when someone says, "Look, I want to get toned," what they actually mean is I want to increase my muscle mass levels, and then at the same time I want to drop my body fat. Right? Because that would make sense, right? That if you had more muscle and less fat, you're going to be looking more toned. The muscle's going to be looking bigger. The muscle's going to be looking more defined, okay? So when someone comes to me and they say, I want to get toned, straight away I'm thinking, okay, they need to put on muscle size, right? And they need to burn fat. So I need to make sure my program addresses both of those things.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't just do muscle size without having some sort of fat burning element. And I wouldn't do just fat burning without some sort of muscle building. Yeah. Okay. So that's why I think the best way to explain tone is. Okay. All right. So now that we know this, he's only got 3 times a week. What 2 questions would you ask Anthony to get a little bit more information? Because what we need to do as fitness professionals is become really good at asking the right sort of questions. Okay.
Yeah.
So in terms of his goals are to get toned, right?
Yeah.
What could be a question that you could ask him to get more information about that?
What would be a question? I feel like maybe I don't know actually.
Okay, well,
because he doesn't.
Yeah, so let me just give you one example quickly. So first of all, one of the goals that I would ask him, are there any specific areas of your body that you're looking to tone? Right.
Okay. Yeah.
So this will be part of that first question. So I want you to sort of write something like this down in that first answer. Okay. So it'd be some sort of are there any specific areas of your body that you are looking to tone? Is it mainly upper body or lower body? You know what I mean? So that gives you a bit of an understanding. Okay, I need to make sure I program specifically more on those areas. Yep.
Yeah.
So that's a good first one. Yeah. What might be a second question?
Well, could you ask something because he obviously doesn't like group classes and he doesn't could you ask something would you be happy doing one-on-one sessions?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And I think I think that's a good question, but that probably comes under see they have down there. There's training preferences. Yep. So that would be a good question. So that would be a good answer to put in there for training preferences. Okay.
Yeah.
So make sure you put that first one in for the goals. Make sure you put that question in there for our training preferences. Definitely.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
sorry, Jamie, are you filling these in as we go?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Just making sure. Okay. What might be some other ones?
Could you talk about something maybe in terms of weight or something, or no? Do you kind of stay away from that?
No. You could definitely do that. So a client need goals. Do you have a desired or ideal weight that you're looking to achieve? Definitely. Yeah. Because if they're saying, look, I want to get toned. I also want to drop 10 kilos, 15 kilos, 5 kilos, 20 kilos. So yeah, then that's a question. Yep. So that's definitely one that you can add in the client needs section.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. What's another good question? So you asked about like, would you be interested in one-on-one training sessions? Because I know you don't like group classes. That's a good one. What might be another good one for training preferences?
Well, he said he likes playing sport.
Yeah. So I would ask, what are your exercise likes and dislikes? Yeah. So that's really important. It's one of the foundational questions we should always ask clients, because we wanted them to focus on things that they like doing, and we want to avoid things that they don't like doing, because it sounds really simple, but the people that get the results are the ones that stick to the program. So if you're giving them a bunch of stuff that they don't like doing, they're just not going to stick to the program, right? So that would be one there. Now, service expectations. Okay, so this question is about sort of what sort of services do they expect from the gym, or from you as a trainer, or etc. So this is a little bit tricky. I'll give you one example to get you thinking. Okay, so the first example is, do you need any help or advice with your nutrition, right? Because I think that's an important question. Because they might go, yeah, look, I've got absolutely no idea about what to eat, when to eat. Or they could say, look, I eat pretty well, I eat pretty consistently. I think I'm okay with that part of it, because you might want to have to maybe even like refer them to a nutritionist or something.
Yeah, I was going to say, because we're not like legally allowed to be telling them what they can.
Yeah, and we will talk a lot in this course about what we can and can't say, because there are some things that we can and some things we technically can't. And look, most trainers say a lot of things that they probably shouldn't be saying, but it's just kind of understanding what you can and can't. So that would be one as well. What might be another question about sort of service expectations?
Would you ask, like, would you be open to, I don't know, like, well, obviously he doesn't like classes, so I'm just looking at the tutor notes and it says like gym service. Oh, that's question 2.
Yeah, it's question 2. Yeah.
Service expectations.
Okay, so how about this one? Okay, are you happy to follow your own program, or would you like a program written up for you? Because that's always that's always a really good thing. So imagine if they're just like walking into the gym for the first time. Yeah. Are they happy to be kind of doing their own thing and they just want to be pointed in the right direction? Or do they want, sit down with a trainer and have a specific program, this on Monday, this on Wednesday, this on Friday, sort of stuff? Yep. Okay. So they're just some examples. I mean, there's heaps of questions that you could ask, right?
Yeah, there is. I just feel like I'm put on the spot. I'm like, shit.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. And like, hey, look, we're just having a conversation about this, basically.
Yeah.
Like, this is the best way. This is the best way to learn as well, just to kind of spitball, throw ideas back and forth, and we'll kind of go from there. Okay.
Yeah. No worries.
All right. So, so he wants to get toned, doesn't really like group exercise classes. Okay. So what other services would be available in the fitness facility that would help him? So let's try and think of 2 specific services that would help him.
Is it what I said before, like one-on-one training?
Definitely, yeah. So that's definitely one. Yep. And then what you need to, so you can write under service, you can write one-on-one training, and then you have to explain to me what the benefits of Anthony doing one-on-one training is. So what would be the benefits for him?
Wait, what question is this?
I'm up to question 2. It says research and explain to Anthony how other relevant.
Sorry, I think I have training preferences. Did I?
Oh, okay. So see. Okay, so can you see my screen here? So
yeah.
As clients' needs and goals, there needs to be 2 examples. Yep.
Yeah, I think I did 3. I added another.
That's fine. Yep. Service expectations, there needs to be 2, and then training preferences, there needs to be 2. Yep.
Yeah, I just haven't done training preferences yet.
Okay, so training preferences, that was like things. Yeah, would you like to train by? Would you like to get one-on-one training or train by yourself?
Oh, okay.
Another one for training preferences, be like, what's the best time of day for you to exercise?
Yeah.
So they're just some examples about training, or like what days of the week, how many times a week. They're the sorts of questions that you should definitely be asking.
Sorry, and then for number 2, service expectations. So question 1, I have, do you need any help or advice with your nutrition?
Yep.
And then I did put, are you happy to follow up your own program, but I put that in training preferences.
It doesn't, you know, they're kind of either or. You could put that one on either of them, right?
Oh.
And then so for training preferences, you could ask questions like, how many days a week are you willing to commit to train? What time of the day is best for you to train?
Yeah.
What are your exercise likes and dislikes? Right. So there's 3 examples, right?
Okay, cool. Got it.
Okay. All right. So let's move down to question 2 here. Okay.
Yeah.
So now we're looking at these 2 services. So one of them, like you said just then, was one-on-one personal training. Okay. And then, so why is that useful in that second box there? Why is one-on-one training useful for Anthony?
Just because he doesn't like training on his own. I mean, training as a group. So
yeah. So it also allows tailored programming to suit his needs and goals, right?
Yeah.
So rather than just following like I call like a cookie cutter program, like a program that someone wrote that anyone can follow, he can sit down with someone, explain, look, I've only got 2 days, 3 days. I want to do this. I want to focus on these areas. So that would be really useful.
Okay.
And what might else exist in a fitness facility that might help Anthony with his goals?
In a what fitness? Sorry, what was
that?
Yeah,
just like if you're thinking like a big Fitness First or like some sort of like large fitness facility, what might be some other things the other services that they might offer?
They have like classes, and they have.
Yeah. Well, we know that he doesn't like classes.
Yeah.
A lot of them will have like some sort of like functional training area. So, you know, like usually it's an area that's like, I mean, you guys probably use it for like netball all the time. Like there's a big bit of like AstroTurf, and there's like sleds and medicine balls and kettlebells and all that sort of stuff, right?
Yeah.
So a functional training area is probably a good service within that gym for him to train in, because, you know, it might allow him to do a wide variety of exercises, you know, in a short period of time, or all in the same area, as opposed to like jumping on a treadmill and then walking over to the other end of the gym and going on a machine and then jumping on a bike. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, you know, when I first started this industry, gyms were very much like rows of treadmills, rows of bikes, rows of, you know, rowing machines, and then like all the machines. And now it's all very much less machines, more free weights, more like big open functional spaces. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you kind of understand that vibe now in gyms? Like when you go in there and they're a lot more sort of opened up? Yeah.
I can't really say I've really been to the gym for a while, because we just go to our say Giants gym.
Yeah. We could, but that would be very much set up like a large functional training space, right? Like,
definitely.
Because it's set up for, I suppose do you use the same ones that the GWS guys use as well?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's all large open spaces, lifting platforms, sleds and medicine balls and functional equipment, and, you know, TRX and battle ropes, all that sort of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, there's heaps of stuff.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so that's the question 2. So as long as you got 2 things inside a gym, that might really help. Okay, now question 3 is basically asking for 2 services you might recommend outside of a gym. Okay. So, you know, often at gyms there are gaps in service provision. So, you know, gyms have almost everything to help someone with their fitness, but they might not have everything as well. Okay. So 2 relevant alternative services that would assist Anthony in, you know, in his goals. Okay.
Yeah.
So what might be 2 things outside of the gym that might help him, that you could recommend as a trainer?
I think like having that nutritionist to kind of guide him in terms of like, if he wants to get toned, making sure that he's eating the right things and that kind of stuff.
Yep, exactly right. Yeah. So the alternative service, so one really good example would be a nutritionist. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. And again, you know, a tailored food plan based upon his, you know, his like energy input and output and his goals, you know?
Yeah.
So, you know, what the nutritionist would do is they'd look at, okay, how much is this person moving, exercising? What are they currently eating? They get them to feel like, you guys, I'm sure you've probably done do you fill in like weekly food plans every once in a while for netball, or not really?
Or depends if you're like a bit on the chubby scale.
Depends if your skin folds are no good, huh? Yeah. So that's exactly, I remember those days. So, you know, like that's, you know, that's what it is, right? So you might have to do a little bit extra, or you might have to, you know, go on a reduced calorie diet or whatever, right? So a nutritionist is somebody who's organizing all of that you know?
Mm-hmm.
So that could be one example. Now, what might be another service? Think outside of a gym.
I was just looking at like the examples on the notes, and I don't really know if this is relevant, but I feel like a massage therapist or something would be nice in terms of like recovery.
Yeah, perfect. That's a great alternative service. Yeah. Okay, 100%. Because if he's especially if someone's really like unused to being in the gym, if they're what we call untrained, you know what it's like the first time you go back in the gym after it's been a while, you're really sore, and you do walking lunges for the first time, you can't walk and sit down the toilet for a week, and you're like, oh my God, how bad is this? So maybe a massage therapist for the first couple of weeks, once a week, would really help. Because what that might do, it might just assist with his recovery and help him stay consistent in the gym. Because we don't want a client come in getting wrecked in the first session, right? And then, spending 2 weeks going, oh, I'm not going back to the gym. It's too sore. It's too hard. It's too whatever.
Yeah.
And there are lots of other services. Off the top of my head, I was thinking of things like swimming pools, which would be great for like cross training and cardio. Joining a local sports team would be really cool because socialization, cardio. Like imagine if you joined touch football or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's there's a zillion examples, right? Okay. So are we okay with question 3, Jamie Lee? We're okay to move on? Yeah. All right. Now question 4 is what we spoke about at the start. Okay. So we want to write a response to Anthony to explain the benefit of both cardio and resistance training in achieving a toned physique. So this is where we try and like break down what toned actually means and write a paragraph about it. Okay?
Yeah.
What I might do is I might just give you a couple of minutes to try and write down a paragraph in your own words. Okay. And then just read it to me and let's see if it kind of makes sense. If there's anything we could add or subtract or something to that. Okay.
Okay. I basically just said, like these 2 methods of training are going to be very beneficial for Anthony in cardiovascular and resistance exercise, as they are going to work together to reach that toned body type.
Okay, so what you've done there is you've kind of reframed the question, but you haven't really explained. You can't even really answer. You haven't even really explained why cardiovascular fitness is really important. So if you just have a look at these slides here, okay?
Yeah.
So you can see here what we want to talk about is some of the benefits of cardiovascular exercise. So I would say something like, cardiovascular exercise is going to be great for improving his fitness, decreasing his body fat levels, and burning a high amount of calories. Okay, so what we're talking about is some of the specific benefits of cardiovascular fitness. Okay.
Yeah.
So what you need to do is make sure your answer includes the benefits of cardio. So we know that cardiovascular exercise, so running or cycling or whatever, it improves your fitness, right? Which is going to help to burn calories. And then when we burn calories, it helps to decrease our body fat percentage, okay? Because we're literally burning off that body fat, okay? So make sure that your answer includes something to do with fitness and calories and body fat for the cardio part, okay?
Yeah. Sorry, right. And then I did write below, I wrote cardiovascular training benefits, and then in bullet points, I just wrote reduces body fat. And then another one improves muscular endurance, and then the third one was high level calorie being burned. I wrote exactly resistance training benefits.
So you're doing the same for resistance training as well, yeah?
Yeah, okay. And I just wrote improvement in muscle endurance, body muscle mass, decrease in body fat.
Perfect. Great. Okay, great. So just as long as you've got both of those within that answer as well. Okay.
Yeah.
And what we want to do, for tone is we want to be doing both this at the same time. Right. So we typically don't want to be having him in the gym just doing like really long just weight sessions and then really long just cardio sessions. Ideally, if we can mix them both together, like the ultimate sort of like the reason why F45s are so popular, right, is because that's what they do. They use resistance training as cardio. Don't they? Right? Because it's all high intensity, very quick, very low rest. The whole concept of like interval training or circuit training. That's what F45 is, basically just circuit training. But that's why we do circuits, because we're trying to do both at the same time. Now, sometimes as an athlete, that isn't your goal. Like if your goal is to get stronger, you can't. F45 is not really going to get you that much stronger.
Yeah.
But sitting in the gym and doing heavy squats, heavy deadlifts, heavy bench press, pull-ups and dips, like that's going to get you stronger, right?
Mhm.
So if we know his goal is tone, then we want to make sure we're doing both cardio and resistance at the same time. So some sort of like, you've probably heard of like high intensity interval training, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure that you would do a lot of that because your sport is literally high intensity
Mhm.
intervals all day long, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Good. All right. So that's why that's really important. So hopefully now you get, when someone says tone, you have a bit more of an understanding of what you're trying to do there in terms of
Mhm.
losing muscle and gaining muscle and losing body fat. Excellent. Okay.
So
Now-
sorry, I just
Yep.
read at the bottom, it is
Mhm.
important that we are doing both of these and mixing these together to ensure that we are getting both these benefits from the training methods. Is that it?
Yeah, perfect. Yeah. So some form of like either mixing them together in the same session or
Yeah.
mixing them together over the course of the week. Yeah.
Mhm.
So it might be like 2 resistance training sessions and 2 cardio sessions, or it could be 4 or 3 full body circuit sessions, as long as there's a mix and we're not
Mhm.
kind of doing too much of one and not enough of the other. Okay. All right. So then that's really good, Jamie Lee. Well done. Well done. So the next one is Anthony responds and he says he dislikes doing cardiovascular exercise on the machines in the gym, like a lot of people do, right? Because it's kind of boring.
Yeah.
I get 2 things with clients all the time. It's either boring or it's too hard. So they usually say like treadmills and bikes and stuff are too boring, but like assault bikes and skiers and rowers are too hard, you know? So
Yeah.
sometimes we've got to kind of get them out of their head and think about other ways or other solutions that
Mhm.
you could do for cardio. Okay.
Yeah.
So as you can see here, there are some examples here. So the first thing is we talked about 2 other customized solutions. Well, the first one could be circuit training, right?
Mhm.
Because that makes sense because now we're using them both at the same time. So we could set up 8 to 10 exercises, do them in a big circuit, 40 seconds on, 20 seconds off or something like that, right? So that could be one solution. Yep.
Mhm.
Another one, what I use this a lot with my clients is that if they don't typically like cardio on machines, but they love doing something like boxing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So boxing is always a really good example.
Mhm.
Boxing's good because I kind of like I like using boxing and battle ropes quite a lot because there isn't a lot of cardio that's upper body focused. If you think about it, like most forms of cardiovascular training are kind of lower body focused. So that's why it's good to get like battle ropes in or the ski machine or like boxing or something like that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Other solutions, I mean, there's 100 different ones. Like we talked about team sports before. Team sports could be a great way for him to get his cardio in, joining a football club or whatever, a running club, outdoors, whatever. Okay.
Mhm.
So are we good with question 5? You've got those 2 examples there?
Yeah.
Great. All right, question 6. Okay, so now he's going, okay, this all sounds great. How do I get started? So the first thing that we need to talk about, and we're going to look at one after this, is he needs to take an initial consultation, okay, which is where we do what's called the adult pre-exercise screening form, okay? You might see it written a lot of places as the APS tool or the APSS tool, and we're going to go through one in a little bit, okay? So all these here, these are all the things that are included in the tool and the reasons why we do it. So have you ever filled in like a screening form in a gym or anywhere?
I can't say I filled out like a
So if you haven't had
pre-ex.
like some sort of like list all your medical issues, list all your injuries, all this,
Oh, yeah.
all that.
Sorry,
Yeah. So it's similar to that sort of stuff.
Okay.
Or like if you like go to a dentist or a doctor and you're filling like a screening form, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
we have like industry standard ones that you'll see, and you'll see these a lot. I use them. Everyone uses them because they're just really comprehensive, and you get a really good idea of their risk factors. Okay. So here's what we're doing. We're looking here. You can see there are kind of 8 points here. There's a bit of a dry question. One you can kind of just copy down. All right.
Yeah.
So the first one that we talk about is we identify the needs of our clients. Okay. The second one is what we identify contraindications. Okay. So
What
do you
is
have any
that?
idea? I was going to ask if you have any idea what that word means.
No,
Okay,
sounds.
you are going to hear that word a bit in this industry. Contraindications are exercises that should be avoided for a certain client due to their risk factors or their health issues. Right?
Okay.
So could you if you had a client that had heart disease or really high blood pressure, right? What
Yeah.
might be an exercise contraindication? Something that should be avoided.
Probably like something that would get your heart rate up. So like, I don't know, on the treadmill and stuff.
Yeah, so like maybe like treadmill sprints, right?
Yeah.
Or like heavy high rep squats. Do you know what I mean? Like they're all contraindicated. Same thing if you're injured, right? If you've blown a disc in your back, you know, probably doing, you know, back extensions and deadlifts while you've got an injured back is probably not a great idea, right? So that's what we're trying to identify. So when you're listing your injuries and I'm reading it, what I'm doing is I'm thinking, okay, I know what to avoid, or if you've got certain medical conditions, I know what to avoid, right? Okay. So that's that. Number 3 is identifying the goals of the client, obviously, all right, and their expectations. So, you know, what are they looking to achieve? Their expectations might be sort of what time frame are they looking to achieve it, you know? Number 4 is identifying the likes and dislikes. We talked about that a lot before, you know, like you want to know what your clients like to do and what they don't like to do. Again, sometimes clients don't like to do things because it's too hard. And sometimes they have to learn to like things because usually they're the most effective things for them, right?
Yeah.
So number 5 is identifying their experience and ability. Okay, so that's really important as well. Why do you think that's important?
Just so you know, if you're dealing, I guess, with like a beginner or like not an expert, but like someone who's
100%, yeah. So we use the term in this industry called training age, right?
Okay.
So it's essentially like, I mean, like, when did you start playing netball?
When I was like 5.
3, yeah, exactly. And let's say you're 20 now, right? Your training age for netball would be 15. You've been playing for 15 years, right? So you could be 20 and you could have 15 years of experience, but whereas someone else could be starting netball and they're the same age, but they've only had 2 years of experience, right? And then that lets me know, okay, you've had 15 years of experience, you understand the concepts, you grasp this and that. We start more advanced, the other person, we start more beginner, right? So that's really important because you might have 2 people of the same age, but their training ages in the gym could be totally different. Okay. I started training a lady this year who was 71 and she has never done exercise before, ever, not once.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, her training age was 0. So it was like me training like a 13-year-old kid, even though she was 71, right? Because we have to start with, this is how you squat properly. This is how you keep a flat back. This is how you brace your core, you know? Whereas I probably don't need to teach you how to do those things. So that's important, okay? Number 6 is identifying limitations. So limitations could be injuries. They could be medical limitations. Like I said, I've got heart disease. I can't get my heart rate up that high, whatever. Number 7 is identifying if our clients need medical clearance. So what we do is we actually add up all their risk factors and we determine if they need medical clearance. And we'll go through that a little bit. And the last one is that all that information gives us an understanding about where to begin, right? Okay. So does that all make sense?
Yeah. So do I just need to...
Yeah, so you just kind of need to just write that one down because these are all the purposes and these are all the stages of this form, okay? So I might just give you, sorry, this is a dry question. I might just give you a couple of minutes just to kind of write this one down, okay?
Yeah, that's it.
And then when you see the APSS form in the next workshop, it'll kind of all make a lot more sense in terms of what we're looking for, okay? And, you know, technically these forms, these screening forms, every client that walks into a gym before they start a program needs to fill one in and sign it for obvious, like, legal reasons, yeah, in case something happens and, you know, you're not signed. And I've walked into 100 gyms that they haven't made me sign one. And, like, you know, what happens if I have a heart attack, you know? So if you're running your own business as a PT, for sure, you need to make sure that all your clients, they're all screened, you know, all that sort of stuff. Okay. Just give me a yell, Jamie Lee, when you finish with this one, okay?
Yeah, no worries. I don't know if this makes sense, but I just said, listed above are all the stages that need/should be done before Anthony joins the gym. It is important legally that you're aware of all the risks or experience this individual has and how much you can push them.
Yep. That's true. Yeah. So, and in the next module, we'll actually look at that. We'll open up one and we'll analyze all the risk factors and see how hard and whatever that we can do. Okay.
Okay.
Just make sure that you make sure you include the screening form covers things like the client's goals, limitations, exercise history, etc., etc.
Okay.
So make sure you include some of the elements in that form as well. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Fantastic. All right. So the next question, Jamie Lee, question 7 is, how would you develop and maintain your knowledge as a fitness professional? So we're talking about like kind of staying current and sort of upskilling within the industry. So do you have any idea about what sort of things you could do if you were, say, just started in the industry, you just finished your Cert 3, you're working in a gym, what could be some ways that you could stay current or sort of upskill your knowledge?
I feel like you could connect with obviously like people that are in the industry.
Yeah, so that's a great one. So you can probably just bullet point some of these. So you could actually like connecting, or you could say being mentored by other experienced fitness professionals. I think that's really important for everybody in any sort of industry.
Yeah.
Is having some form of what's going on with my computer? Can you still hear me?
Yeah. Easy.
Okay. I don't know what's happened to my screen. All right. Well, let's just keep going while my screen is going mental.
Yeah.
I'm going to try and just hang
on.
Okay, so that could be one. Another one could be things like, what about doing some short courses? Yeah. So like doing some upskilling courses. So for example, a PT might do a boxing course, or they might do like a course about like how do you use kettlebells or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. I feel like these days you can probably watch YouTube or
YouTube. Yep. Watching YouTube instructional videos, listening to podcasts, reading books, all that sort of stuff. So you give quite a few examples there, I'm sure.
I've just so far got connecting or being mentored by fitness professionals.
Yep.
Completing short courses. Upskilling. With higher qualifications, like you said before.
Yep.
And then watch like YouTube, and then down below I said read articles, podcasts.
Yep, things like that. Great, perfect. That's all really good. Excellent. Okay. Alrighty, so that's the first one. So that's 1B done.